Hey folks, Matt Outdoorsman here. My takeaways from the midterm elections, folks. Alright, this is what I'm going to discuss today on this video. Folks, it's clear and evident that this country just isn't ready yet. Okay, and what do I mean by that? It's not ready yet. I mean, how bad does it need to get? You know, how bad does it need to get for people to realize and wake up and see what's going on? I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, it looks like Republicans are going to win back the House, and there's a good chance that the Republicans will also win back the Senate and have full control of Congress. I think what concerns me the most is what, I'm seeing on social media and, mainstream media. And everybody is going, I'm saying more of the leftists are going with the fact that young Democrat voters came out and pretty much, saved democracy, right? And the Generation Zs, I don't even know what fucking generation we're in. I know I'm a Gen Xer. I was around before this social media nonsense that ruined society, in my opinion. And when I went my days, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so this was before indoctrination was introduced in schools. And this is pretty much where I'm going to take the focus on this video. People wonder, right? Like, what the fuck is wrong with society? Why is this country not recognizable anymore? Right? And for those of you that might be educators that are watching this video, I am not putting you all in one basket here, all right? Because there are educators out there that, we'll call whistleblowers that call out the fucking bullshit that's going on in these schools. All right, listen, folks, I'm a parent, all right? I mean, my two daughters are adults now, so they're all done with school. But, I have heard some stories, I can introduce some anecdotal evidence on my own of shit that I remember, what they would come home and talk to us about, and it's pretty goddamn scary what's going on in these schools. They're pretty much these educators are pretty much pushing this woke agenda, and basically teaching them how to hate the Constitution and that the founding fathers were all fucking racists, and that, go out and tear those statues down and this and that, like, this is where it comes from, folks. It starts in the schools, It's running amok. This leftist ideology is running amok in the classrooms, and not only are the students suffering, but the nation as a whole is suffering because of it. And it's all because the inmates are running the asylum, right? I mean, just to go to my notes here, we have an economy in recession. We have massive inflation, okay? We have a broken judicial system. And, quote, Trump voters are a threat to democracy. You can't even say the Pledge of Allegiance in school anymore. If you're teaching a class about, well, let's just say the upcoming holiday of this month of November, big holiday, Thanksgiving, right? If I'm a teacher and I'm white, obviously, and if I'm teaching about Thanksgiving, I don't have Native American blood in me. Maybe I'm racist for fucking teaching a class, right? You know, maybe I'm going to be facing consequences, right? This is the fucking shit that's going on in schools, right? And these kids are the future of America, all right? As each day passes, this country is becoming more and more unrecognizable, all right? And again, like, how bad does it need to get? You know? I don't think that, and I'm not taking a shot at young adults here, all right, because I was once young, and I'm going to admit it, folks. Listen, I'm going to be 44 years old, staring at me right around the corner. When I was young and I was in my 20s, I voted Democrat, you know, and in my opinion, I think most young people vote Democrat, and like as you get older and life starts to kick you in the fucking stones, and you're paying bills and you're seeing how much everything costs, you tend to change that focus and vote a different way. You know what I'm saying? I think that's for the majority of people. And I guess that's my only hope. You know, that like at some point these kids, these young adults, wake up to the fact that everything's not as peachy or rosy as, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? But on the flip side of that, all the core values that this country was founded on and based on, it's going away. You know, so if indoctrination is the only thing that kids know, then who's it up to change that focus? It's up to the parents, right? It's up to people like me and hopefully people like you to sit your son or daughter down after they get home from school and say, hey, ask them, what'd you learn at school today? You know, how did social studies class go? What did they talk about? You know, as parents, you need to ask this question. And you need to be on top of that, because this is the only way you can keep your kids in line and maybe, hopefully, hold these schools in check, you know? Maybe think about alternatives to education, you know, like, well, to public school education, I should say, you know, and perhaps homeschool your kids if you can, you know, or have the option to send them to a whole different type of school system that's like not public, like a private school or something, you know, but do your homework. I don't know how, what it's gonna take, and if we have enough people as a whole in this nation to do that. You know, I mean, traditional family values, you know, I'll touch on that for a minute. I mean, let's just face it, you know, there's a lot of families in this country that, you know, these kids come from broken homes. There's a high divorce rate, right? I'm divorced, you know. You know, mothers aren't raising their kids, grandparents are, you know, whatever the situations are. The father's absent, you know. And this is where we see it. We see the result of where our nation's going every time there's a major election in this country. You know, remember 2020, you know, the whole BLM movement, you know, and all that nonsense, where like students were wearing Black Lives Matter pins to school. And why did they do it? In my opinion, it was out of emotion. They didn't really know why they were doing it, right? And most adults too. You know, you saw it. And what is BLM? You know, they're a fucking terrorist organization. All right? They don't help the black community. They could give a holy fucking shit about the black community. All right? They want to tear this country down. But that's the thing. You know, shit like that is accepted inside the public schools. You know? Everybody runs on this emotion and they don't critically think about the real problems, like I listed: the economy, inflation, the broken justice system. You know, like, young voters don't think about this shit. You know, they do what the mainstream media tells them to do. You know, they tear down statues because they were taught that the founding fathers in this country were racist. You know? And yeah, I get it, all right? I don't want to get too much involved here with, I keep on using this statue thing as an example, but, excuse me, I get it. You know, statues of Confederate soldiers are not founding fathers. Yeah, I know. All right? It's history, folks, you know? Pigeons were shitting on those fucking statues for 100 goddamn years before, and nobody batted a fucking eye about it. You know what I'm trying to say here? This is what I'm getting at. But all of a sudden, now everybody's fucking offended by everything, all right? It's this whole woke bullshit ideology, all right? That's running amok, that's running fucking rampant in this country. All right? That's where I'm going with this. I don't see any real changes coming anytime soon. I think we're in for a rough 2 more years. Even if the Republicans are in there, I'm not saying they're gonna fucking save this country. All right, folks? It's not going to take an elected representative to save this country, all right? It's going to take patriots. It's going to take people who appreciate and respect the core values that this country was founded on, all right? That's going to save this country. It's going to take parents of young kids being involved with their child's education, all right? And putting these educators on blast, okay? Ask those questions. What did you learn in school today? What did they talk about? Okay? It's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm not going to say that there's not going to be a country. There's not going to be no more America. But I keep saying this in my videos, we're reaching our boiling point. And I adamantly feel that at some point, when we get there, the change will come. I can't sit here and say how that's gonna happen, but Rome is burning, folks, okay? Rome is burning. We are like the great Roman Empire and their last throes, their last days. All right. I'm not going to forget where I came from. I'm not going to forget my core values. All right. And I'm going to continue prepping every day. And that's all I can do. All right. Folks, if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. If you have not already, perhaps hit that thumbs up button. All right. The bigger my channel gets, the more outreach I have to people. I'm here to send my message in my own way, engage with like-minded individuals like myself that have that prepping mindset and that sees what's going on and is aware to that fact of what's going on around me. All right. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.